Pantheon Rise of the Fallen is on their march to alpha, and earlier this year they laid out a checklist of things that need to be done before the game can be considered officially ready for that onslaught of thousands of new testers. So when they do gameplay reveals like their most recent stream with CohhCarnage, we on the outside can more easily understand their progress and see roughly how much is left before those floodgates finally swing open. The Vision Realms developers recently broadcasted their adventure in Pantheon with Twitch streamer CohhCarnage, and it was about 2 hours long, which is excellent. But in order to summarize that, I'm just going to hit the highlights of what's new since the last time co-streamed Pantheon, which was almost exactly 7 months ago. So hopefully that starts to give you an idea of the progress they've made in that time, but there's a lot more that I just can't fit in this video. So if you want more info on Pantheon's progress moving forward, hit the subscribe button now, because that's exactly what my channel is dedicated to. I'm not affiliated with Vision Realms. I've just been following Pantheon's development for a long time, and I like to share what I learn and make it easier for you to track the project as well. So let's get into it. While they may not be the most important aspects of an MMO, certainly one of the first things most people notice in any game are the graphics. Now, this stream took place in Halnir Cave, which is a zone that Cohh has visited a few times in streams over the years, but this time, the group went to some new unexplored areas in Halnir, and even the areas that had been shown before have seen some significant changes. Right off the bat, we can see notable improvements to the lighting, the UI, new NPC models such as the Cryptling and the Wraith, and new spell animations such as Mesmerize, this floating orb that hovers over your shoulder and acts as a light source, as well as, of course, many different projectiles, explosions, and all that fun stuff. Which brings me to the much more important, but also more nuanced improvements to the combat, specifically the NPC abilities and their AI and decision making. The key here is to make combat much more dynamic, interesting, and challenging. This is something the devs have said that they've been working on a lot lately, and while it's much more obvious if you're actually playing the game, if you pay attention even as a viewer, you'll still see that it was on full display in this stream. Let me explain. As a couple examples of this, there were some NPCs that were specifically targeting the healer and silencing him when he was using a heal or a defensive ability. And there were wraiths who were deciding to sacrifice themselves in a desperate moment to do massive amounts of AoE damage, that sort of thing. It's almost as if NPCs are thinking more like the players would. In fact, NPCs have classes just like players do, and therefore share many of the same abilities as players. That also means that as more ability mechanics get programmed into the game, the designers can use them to make player abilities as well as NPCs. So many new class abilities are in play now as well. Not to mention the whole new monk class, which was played by producer Brendyn in this stream. But in my opinion, one of the most interesting new class abilities belongs to the Enchanter. It's called Spell Turn. So if you're an Enchanter and you see an NPC use an ability that you want but don't have, you can just steal it from them and use it against them. Although, you still might want to be careful what you reflect back, because the NPC trait system is also now in play. You may be familiar with the Disposition system in Pantheon, which, on top of their usual AI and decision making that I just mentioned, NPCs will sometimes spawn with a disposition that alters their behavior and priorities even more. For example, if a creature spawns with the Pyrophobic disposition, it will flee from fire. A trait is similar, except instead of altering the NPC's behavior, it's an inherent passive characteristic that essentially changes the rules of combat with that NPC in some way.
Are you guys taking damage from the...
How much damage did you take from... Healer.
He's buffed a bit.
Oh, we lost a healer.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna blame our wizard here. So, Ko, if you've got that red one targeted, take a look at the buff on it on the lower end of its health bar.
Superheated. Empowered
yeah.
by incoming fire damage.
Whoops.
Superheated is a trait that causes those particular cripplings to get insanely powerful the more fire damage they absorb. There can also be beneficial traits as well. Things that are little quirky traits of NPCs that maybe make them have more loot, or traits that might cause them to do a little bit of work for you in combat by attacking one of their allies on accident, maybe. So lots of interesting varieties and mixtures in the kind of NPCs you encounter. And the reason we're doing that is because we've seen MMOs over so many years now where no matter how amazing or how beautiful or intriguing a zone may be, if you've done it 100 times, then you've done it 100 times, and it's the same thing. It's the same experience every time. What we've done with dispositions and traits is we're working to evolve that experience to create more of a variety every time you go to a certain place. So even though you may have done Halnir Cave or been in Halnir Cave 100 times, the actual experience could be different than you've ever experienced before, just based on the combination of dispositions and traits that might exist at that time.
All of these factors combined made for much more difficult combat, and that meant the group had to be very methodical and coordinated in their pulling, damage, and crowd control as they systematically made their way through this dungeon. And even still, there were at least a couple of full party wipes. Plus, as Code discovered, even when you think you're being careful about the NPCs, the zone itself might still have some tricks up its sleeve.
We can let Ko, if you want to grab that. Well, there's a soldier behind us, I was going to say. Might be a good. Just get out of the way.
Sounds good. Oh, that's
That was wow.
up hit in
You did that on purpose to him, didn't you, entirely?
Lord. Okay, okay now. Hold up. Was that a trap?
That was a trap.
Okay. I'm gonna have to be a little more careful there.
I'm
Man,
glad you guys didn't see, because that's how I died earlier, was falling down that same one, and I just kind of, kept
that
it to
is
myself. got res
brutal.
back.
Oh my lord! And now, oh my god, I'm in like a completely different part of the level, aren't I?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so let's see.
Eventually, the group was able to make it to the depths of Halnir, and there they found a boss called the Thief of Eternity, and the mechanics of this boss fight were unlike anything we've seen in past Pantheon streams, so rather than explaining it, I think it's best to just show you.
169, nice.
Watch out. I
Ow. Eternal Battle. Okay, this is the inflicting physical damage. Oh, that's me. Okay.
Dispelling that. All right, that's
Thank
gone.
you.
nice.
Aha! Oh, okay, here we go again.
Come on,
Uh,
Blake.
Alright, pull him back and
Get power.
Power first.
These are unmessable.
Oh god.
I'm
Okay.
gonna try and
Probably
get
life
it.
next. Oh Jesus.
Burn life.
Okay,
Good
that
job.
seemed to go
Sweet.
okay. Now resilience.
Resilience. This is the guy that got us last time.
Oh,
Nice.
Alright,
okay. Did he get all the buffs this time?
got Thief. I'm going to pull him back a little bit from the middle.
Oh, he didn't. No, he
Nice.
got. Oh,
Oh,
that's not. What
watch
is
out.
this? Oh no!
Oh.
Did I have to get behind these too? Okay, there's a lot going on in this fight.
Ooh.
Ooh,
Oh, the
boy.
enchanter made it.
My lord. Whew.
And just as a quick bonus, after the group wiped and co-released to his bind point, we got a brief sneak peek of the Grayboxed version of Thronefast. This is the adventure area outside of the human starting city, which obviously still has some unfinished textures, but it is still a nice, bright overland area which provides a stark contrast to the deep, dark dungeon that they just died in. If any of this has piqued your interest, I'd highly recommend that you go watch the full video, which I'll provide a link to in the description, as well as the many other Pantheon videos that are out there on the official Pantheon YouTube channel, as well as my own, and Nathan Napalm, Pantheon Plus, or any of the other community channels as well, because there's a lot more than I can cover here in just this short video. So, until next time, stay curious and adventure on.